We usually have Councillor Tony Randle, our letter from Wellington, on a Tuesday, but we're going to have him on a Monday today because he's got a big day tomorrow. I don't know what he's got a big day about. He's probably just going to a council meeting. It's hardly a big day. That's just sort of normal. But he is going to join us now. Tony, you've got a council meeting, or you're having a tooth out tomorrow, or are they both roughly the same
Oh,
process?
oh no, I had to postpone my dental appointment from last week to next week to this week. But no, tomorrow we're making the big decisions on our long-term plan amendment to cut, I don't know, $300 million worth of projects out of our capital program so we can restore our emergency money. That's following the not selling the airport.
Sorry, just run me on this one. You've actually got to. You don't have. Do you have an option to not cut?
Well,
I
I
mean, for
guess
example,
the
just
officers
say
say,
we're going to carry on doing whatever we do. We're
yeah,
just not going to put that fund there.
well, so when you're a counsellor, you get advice from officers. And sometimes the advice is, well, you can do the wrong thing, but we don't advise it. And sometimes that's actually you have to do this. And this sort of falls into the latter category that we have to have some emergency funding because it's needed for any large organisation that we can, always borrow more in an emergency. And of course, you'd think for a council who actually has to deal with emergencies straight up, yes, we have to be able to tap into some quick money and like a significant amount of money. And this is what the emergency money is for. We were going to fund
Sorry,
it
I mean that seems
from.
slightly mad to me, Tony. I mean, can you explain it to people who are listening to this? Because it's sort of like I'm going to cut my cloth to put money in my savings account that I need actually because there might be a rainy day tomorrow. That just seems madness to me.
Well, from where I support it, for me, it's about having your teenage son with a credit card with a $3,000 limit, and they've gone to the $2,000 limit, and they want to spend the rest, And I'm saying, no, no, you've got to keep that extra thousand for emergencies, and that's what it's for. And we're a big city, what 200,000 people who rely on our services and on us being able to help them out in an emergency. So we simply have got to have some
How
money.
many other how
In
many other people in New Zealand, Tony? I know I've been in local government for a while, but have you gone around the rest of New Zealand and seen how many of them have a $500 million or whatever it is, $300 million emergency fund stuck away somewhere?
No, I haven't, but
The answer
equally,
to that question,
most.
Tony, would be almost none. So why is Wellington
Okay.
deciding that it needs one when you actually need to fix your basic infrastructure?
Oh, look, I'm all for fixing the basic infrastructure, and if this extra money was going towards that, then I would probably be more sympathetic to spending the money. But that's not what this money is going towards. They wanted to sell the airport to fund cycleways, green, organic waste improvements, this sort of stuff. When you're right, we should be focusing all our resources towards fixing our pipes, and that's what the public keep telling us. So amongst all of this, though, we haven't sold the airport, and so the officers say we need to have some reserves. Now, you can argue whether it's $500 million or others. That's what the officers say. We may end up with making some cuts and saving less, but it has to be a logic to it. Otherwise, it's not prudent under the Local Government Act.
One of the things that you have, listen, we all know it's the frog in the beaker stuff. People come to Wellington and go, "Oh God, what's happened to Wellington?" Whereas a lot of people who've lived in Wellington for the last 10 years, there's nothing wrong with this place. I mean, um, but one of the problems that you've got
Yeah.
is obviously your Golden Mile, which you've talked about, the sort of the pedestrianisation or the bikeification of Wellington via the private transport options. So I get all that. We've talked about that a lot, and you'll have that discussion tomorrow, I guess. But I'm really interested in the fact that the Taxpayers Union, and you've probably seen it, Tony, in the last 24 hours, have put out a press release saying that you're about to spend $25 million on something called Begonia House, a greenhouse at Botanic Gardens. Is that right?
Yes, well, I think it's about 18 million, but the money is big. And one of the things about the city is that it's in love with its own heritage, even though it's an earthquake city with high winds. So the Begonia House was built in the 1920s. It's a big greenhouse that's in our Botanic Gardens, and it's lovely. I mean, lots of heritage stuff
Can
is
I
lovely.
go back, first of all? I'm getting this directly from the research, the Official Information Act response, and it says here, and I'll just read it to you. Updated inflationary forecasting as of March 2024, and in the business case, estimates this at $25 million.
Yeah.
So originally it started at between 18 and 20 million, and now your council is saying, well, as of March 2024, it's $25 million to do this. This is the upgrade or full refurbishment of Begonia House.
Yes, yes, and it's a lot of money for what is not a very big building, and it's a greenhouse. It's not housing. It's not it's not key services, and this is the reason why they're recommending we don't do it is because of the cost. But I'll tell you, I have a problem with it. I asked the officers saying, okay, sure, it might cost a lot to rebuild essentially a 1920s design, tiny pane glass house, but what if you just replaced it with a modern, best practice, new materials type glass house? How much would that cost? And the answer from the officers is, oh, we don't know, we haven't worked that out. And you, as a councillor, you're then faced with the dilemma of saying, well, the choices you've given me is either spend tens of millions on refurbishing a heritage building, put it back the way it was, or demolish it. And yet it could be that we could get a brand new glass house, which functionally is the same, it may probably even better, in fact, than the current glass house, and retain it, and it might only cost 6 million. And yet we don't have that information. So are we getting all the information we need, is a question I have, to make the right decision? I mean, at the moment,
let me get this right. So your
staff
staff are giving you two options, essentially. $25 million and refurbish it or demolish it. I mean, you're right. There must be 1,001 different options you've got, but those are the options that you've been provided with. Doesn't this mean that you're sort of being led by the ghoulies by your staff, Tony, and that nobody's really thinking?
Without supporting the analogy, I just want to go and say sometimes you get the sense that the officers have worked out what the right answer is, and they're sort of taking on the job of persuading you rather than you coming back and saying, actually, we want to look at a couple of other options, or these other people have come along and said, there is this other option here that you haven't looked at. And yeah, I mean, it's railroading is what I'd call it.
Can you also confirm that you knew that it was now costing 25 million? Did you know that? No, you obviously didn't. Otherwise, you wouldn't have answered the question like you did just now.
Well,
18
million was the last one.
Yeah, we see that's the interesting thing. You didn't know it was $25 million, but that's what they've given under Lagoima to there. You see, I've had the same problem with my council as well, paying stuff out that no one knows is going until you actually do a Lagoima request or a local government official information request to get it. Doesn't it worry you that the information that you need to make a decision is different than the information that's provided by staff legally to an outside agency, and that the more accurate information is the latter?
I know, and you look at other things. When you look at the costs, I mean, I look at 25 million, saying, really, well, what happened from the $18 million estimate, and why is it when officers don't recommend restoring it, does the price keep going up? I go back to the Central Library upgrade. There was a choice there again between restoring it and keeping it, a building, or building a brand new one. And at the time of the decision, they said, oh, it would cost about the same. And since then, the cost of restoring it has gone up and up and up. And so we ended up choosing restoration because this city loves restoration. This is before my time on council, of course. But, we could have had a really great library for a modern one for $70 million. And now we're at like $120 million and growing to get a library that looks like the one that was there before. And again, I do question, did we get the right information, or was it set up the wrong way and they missed stuff?
Yeah. Well,
Just,
I guess your Crown Observer will help you on that one, will he, or not?